Yes, everybody. Good afternoon, West Ham fans. A summary. Spring, first day of spring. And the sun is here and it's 20 degrees in Church. Hope you're safe and well. Hope you're enjoying the nice weather if you're in the UK. It is time for Hammer's Headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys. And today is a goalkeeper special. Lots of stories about goalkeepers, some affecting our current goalkeepers and some affecting players that we could potentially be bringing in. So let's crack on with it. Don't forget to check out these Mother Brown for the latest news, reviews and opinions. Speaking of goalkeepers, next Thursday, I've been reliably informed by Martin Godliman that we are doing the Ludwig McCloskey Appreciation Night next Thursday. Not as advertised this Thursday, next Thursday. So you got the night off. Got the night off, but don't tell the missus. Right, let's crack on like Donkey Kong and talk about some players that could be featuring in West Ham's lineup next season. Now, goalkeepers an area we know. I think Anton's going to do a show next week sometime, or maybe later this week, about some of the priorities. I think one of the priorities is goalkeeper. We are in a situation now where we've got Lucas 𝙆𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙋𝙀𝙀🐬 He's in the last months of his contract, and I don't know whether Areola's the guy for Graham Potter. There's no disrespect to Areola, but certain keepers and certain managers like head coaches like certain keepers. I don't think Areola is his long-term guy. Just got a hunch. No ground for any rhyme or reason. I just have a view that I think he may well be looking to bring in a different goalkeeper in the summer. And there are reports that Areola himself has been linked with a move to La Liga, back to La Liga with Espanyol potentially. But one player, and we're going to talk about three different goalkeepers we've been linked with in the last sort of couple of days. One is the Roma goalkeeper, probably pronounced Millet Svilla. Sounds good. The AC Milan goalkeeper, 25-year-old, has played 42 times for Roma's as their first choice goalkeeper this season across all competitions, and has been linked with a move away from Roma with several clubs interested, including West Ham. It's a player we've spoken about before, actually. I think Clarence Hugh do a good little profile of him and called him not a fun goalkeeper, but a flamboyant goalkeeper. So I don't know whether these will chime well with a Potter number one. But the report in the Corriere dello Sport has said that he's emerged as a target for several clubs, including Chelsea, Bayern Munich, and West Ham. He is apparently demanding a salary of €4 million per year after tax. Something which Roma apparently have not agreed to, so he's looking for elsewhere. Might seem a bit steep, so he might have to sort of lower his wage demands if he wishes to make a move, or even if he wants to stay put in Roma. But there are talks of him potentially joining West Ham. Now, Roma's an interesting club because they are probably one of the clubs that someone like would be interested in a move for their former player Emerson, who could well be out the door in the summer if a decent number comes in for him. 10 to 15 million quid, I think, is what they're looking for. And with Roma maybe looking to bring back one of their former defenders, he may decide to go back to Italy as well. And it could be. And there's not many. I think that's something which I think we're going to see more of, this sort of part exchange. A bit like sort of the American setup in terms of how the American sports work. They tend to be trades rather than necessarily. Occasionally there'll be a fee attached, but they tended to be sort of 2-for-1 jobs. And I think for PSR and stuff like that, we may well see more of that happening, I think, particularly when the new system comes into play, if it ever does come into play. It's currently sort of running alongside in parallel as like a test run with the current setup in terms of PSR to see what would happen and the implications of that. But anyway, regardless of that, Millet could be. He's a big lad as well. Decent shot stopper. But I think we may well be looking elsewhere, and I think we may be close to home in terms of the players we could potentially be bringing in for whether it be as a number one or whether it be as a number two competing for number one. I don't know. But one of the ones we've been linked with is James Trafford. from Burnley. Now, we've been talking about him quite a bit recently. We have a bit of a hard-on for Burnley players, it seems, from a scouting perspective, with 4 or 5 of the Burnley side being regularly scouted on, the likes of Maxime Esteve. There's... I can't think the guy's name now, but the guy is on loan at Chelsea, a couple of others as well, and James. Now, James is heavily linked with a move to Newcastle. They're heavily involved in the hunt to sign him as well. He's kept 26 clean sheets this season. Now, granted, it is the Championship, but still, that's very impressive. And obviously, it's a package deal. It's not him just as a goalkeeper, but it's defence in front of him and then the midfield in front of him as well. And so, it's no surprise that he's going to be in the shop window. Obviously, he's yet to make his England debut, but he has been called up to Thomas Tuchel's maiden England squad. And you would imagine potentially he might get some minutes. He might not, though, but you never know what he's going to do. Nick Pope, obviously, he would be taking over Nick Pope if Newcastle went in for him. I think Nick Pope's still got a few years left in the tank, in all honesty. I think he's a good goalkeeper and could well be represented. Obviously, Pickford's number 1, then Nick Pope probably number 2, in all honesty. I think Newcastle would struggle to keep both keepers happy if James Trafford went there, because he'd want to go now and be a number 1, particularly if it's going to take north of £20 million to get him in the books, particularly if Burnley get automatically promoted, because that in itself would probably add another 10-15 million pounds onto what we'd pay if he stayed in the Championship, in all honesty. Now, if the decision in the summer is made to move on, someone like Areola back to La Liga, with maybe offering Fabianski a year extension to be a decent number 2, there's a possibility there for James to come in and be the number 1 and be the one for a long time, and he's very young as well. So, for me, it would be a huge sort of vote of confidence to get someone like James in. He's great with the ball at his feet as well. And clearly, we know that's how Potter likes to play. He likes his goalkeepers to be able to play football as well. Now, if we don't get James Trafford, I think the next obvious one is another player we've been linked to, and actually it's a double shot, really. West Ham, according to reports, are lining up a audacious. I don't know if it's audacious or even ambitious, because they've both been relegated, but double swoop for the Southampton pair, Aaron Ramsdale and also Tyler Dribbling. Now, Aaron, I think, is personally, I think he's been unlucky. I think he's a good goalkeeper, and people will say straight away, "Oh, we're buying a goalkeeper from a relegated side, Lucas Fabianski," and he didn't do too bad for us, did he? For Swansea. Swansea relegated with a lot of goals they conceded, and we got Lucas Fabianski, and he stayed with us for 7 years, something like that. A long time now. And so, for me, Aaron could be a good buy. He can play the ball with his feet. We know he can. He probably wouldn't command the type of figure that James Trafford was, because he's slightly older. But I think, how old is he? I want to say Aaron Ramsdale is 26. Aaron Ramsdale is 26. Fucking hell. I'm good. Although he's 27 in May. So he'd come 27. I mean, you could have 5, 6, 7 years of him if he was, staying fit. Lucas Fabianski is the oldest player in the Premier League at 39. And it could be a good double deal. I mean, we're apparently not alone in interest for Ramsdale. Chelsea are interested in him as well. I think Chelsea are looking at moving on from Robert Sanchez and bringing in another goalkeeper as well. We know Liverpool aren't in the market because obviously they've got the guy from Valencia already coming in. So, we could have not a clear run, but a clearer run. And it could be a double deal, as we said, with Tyler. The likes of Spurs are interested in him as well. Obviously, he's 18. He'll be he's one of their brightest stars, brightest talents, and he'll be one of the key players they either keep to bounce up or they get rid of him at a premium rate because he's 18, homegrown as well. So it's going to be fascinating to see the goalkeeper position. But in terms, as I said, there has been rumblings of maybe Areola go back to La Liga, with Espanyol being interested in him. One keeper who is staying along for the time being, for a sufficient time, is Mason Terry. Mason Terry has announced, or the club have announced, that he has signed an extension of his contract, which will keep him into the summer of 2027. He joined the Hammers aged 8, featured in every game of the FA Youth Cup winning campaign 2023, conceded just 6 times as the Hammers lifted the trophy for the 4th time in their history, when we beat Arsenal 5-1 at the Emirates. What a great day that was. 7,500, 8,000 West Ham fans there. He was joined in terms of signing his contract by Mark Robson, and also the head of the goalkeeper academy, B. Leapin. He also had, as you can see, Areola popping in for a picture to congratulate him on the extension. So great, and congratulations, Mason. Mason's currently on loan at AFC Hornchurch, as you all know, because you watch the academy show every Monday. With that deal being that he basically still trains for the 21s, is involved in the first team training as well at West Ham, but for match days, he's available for AFC Hornchurch, and pretty much he's been a mainstay for every game this season. Unfortunately, yesterday when he signed his contract, he then was playing away in the Essex Senior Cup in the final against Canvey Island, and couldn't make it a perfect day. Unfortunately, Canvey Island equalised in the 91st minute to take the game to penalties, and unfortunately, AFC Hornchurch lost 4-2 on penalties. So unfortunately, Mason couldn't get the final one done and bring home some more silverware to this neck of the woods. But congratulations on signing and a contract to extend his contract. Obviously, we've got like Finn Herrick as well. I think Finn was on the bench for the under-19s yesterday, or under-18s yesterday. Didn't come on. And then below that, we've got Laurie Olusu from the 18s, who's currently out with the under-18s England setup, I believe, at the moment. So, and plus Christian Heggie as well, who's currently at Debrecen getting some minutes in the Polish league there. So there's the goalkeeper situation. I think after there's sort of a gap for me. There's like you've got the youth team play goalkeepers who are probably about 3 or 4 years, I think, and then you've got that gap in the middle where you've got like Fabianski and Wes Fodringham, and there's a gap there. There's options there to bring some of those guys up, but for that number 1 jersey, I wouldn't be surprised if we bring in a new one over the summer, but who knows? Anyway, Hammers headlines. Don't forget to check on brand.com for the latest news, reviews and opiniones, and I will see you tomorrow, my friends. I will try and get another morning musing. You seem to really enjoy them, so I've got an idea for one. So I might walk the dog in the morning. I'm not in the office tomorrow, so I might walk the dog in the morning and do a musing. Who knows, you lucky bastards. Take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, and come on your irons. Much love. Bye-bye.